Hello, everyone. This is Tom, the Lone Wolf Prepper, and welcome to my Sunday Night Live broadcast. I wanted to do something uplifting tonight, but lo and behold, because of the subject tonight, we realize that we still gotta deal with the Democrats for another 64 days, and them definitely melting down, all of them. Anyway, thank you all for being here. YouTube is definitely making it hard for people to find my channel. The times I have, but hey, Carol, how's it going? Good to see you tonight. I tell you what, the amount of time that my shorts are put on the feed and stuff. I mean, I used to be at 5,000 a day. They're not even putting my stuff on the feed. Be lucky if it gets on there 200 times a day now. It's crazy. I mean, let's just say that my analytics went to the toilet, all right? But, they're throwing their fit because Trump won and stuff, but like I say, when they get held accountable for violating people's civil rights, we'll see what happens. But one thing that I did today is the thought of the day I put on today about the COVID-19 vaccine. Well, I put that one on before and I got a strike because I just had it with YouTube. So they're not giving out strikes no more. They're just seriously shadow banning. And if you've been watching my shorts lately, obviously I've been getting under their skin, you might say. But you know what? I'm getting sick of listening to these people doing the meltdown videos saying that I'm just this terrible person. And if you voted for Trump, you voted against women's rights, and they're just going to go against you. So what you're saying is, since I disagree with you, you totally can't live with me no more. I mean, women are kicking their husbands out of the house. They're getting divorced, shaving their heads, marking themselves to say we all belong to this group. They're segregating themselves. You know, instead of wearing uh, blue the blue star David, they're wearing blue wristbands. It's just crazy what the melting down. And like I say, and now we're seeing that the ones even higher up with given authorization to Ukraine to use long range missiles, they're all melting down too. But anyway, uh, and one thing about my channel, I haven't applied for monetization. I haven't reached the criteria to be monetized yet, and they've already demonetized my channel. Okay, already got that message. Yep, I'm already demonetized, even though I can't be demonetized. Crazy. All right. One thing is when we do get this new administration in, I think these social media and mass media, mainstream media platforms and companies are going to be held accountable for what they've done, for lying to the people for all these years. Like I say, we got all these meltdowns going on, mental illnesses, gone nuts. Okay. And you're talking about teachers, the people teaching your kids are getting fired because of what they're putting on stuff. That's what they really think. But somebody needs to be held accountable for all this brainwashing that went on. Somebody. It was a crime. You rob people of their common sense, the ability to live on their own and make rational decisions. Now it's just you watch these meltdown videos, nothing but they're extremely upset. They're not actually acting rational at all. At all. I mean, mental illness on display. But anyway, they need to be held accountable. And some of the people are already holding the mainstream media accountable. How do you account for CNN's ratings dropping? I mean, Anderson Cooper, almost 40%. There was one of them that bashed Trump at this interview, and he called her a pretty nasty person. 65%. that Joe Behar or whatever, I think that's who it was. 50, what was it, 54%. See, they're already being punished by the people. These people woke up, and after they got, some of them can't get over it. But the ones that are realizing why they lost, why the Republican Party basically had no competition this time, it wasn't because the women voted too much for Trump or the Latino or the minorities or nothing. It's because they had nothing to vote for you guys for. Stupid. And then these people that sit there and claim democracy, putting these meltdown videos. Oh, you voted against my rights. I want to know. I want all the women to come on YouTube or a social media platform and tell me what right they lost on January 20th that they didn't have on January 19th. I'm just curious. I want one. They believe this stuff. This is the problem. They've just been completely brainwashed, and you're dealing with pharmaceutical companies pushing their mind-altering pills, especially on kids. But then again, Trump got a high turnout in the youth and stuff. So whatever, But in CNN and MSNBC, it can't even sell MSNBC. That's how bad it is. All right, and then who's to follow? Well, obviously the social media platforms, the ones that have their community guidelines, maybe a little too stringent, like Facebook and YouTube. I haven't come up with how I feel about Rumble and X yet. I just don't believe that somebody takes over, and since the precedent has been established that these social media platforms are allowed to come up with community guidelines so they can censor somebody's speech because of their personal bias, what's to stop Elon from doing it? Now, I guess I haven't heard about Elon shadow or cutting people off, but whatever. Maybe I did. I think Pinball Preparedness said he was shut him down, shut one of his videos down or something once. But precedence has been set. All right. Our constitutional rights are kind of like, well, we'll see if it benefits us for you to have them or not have them. Hopefully, with Trump coming in, that'll all change. Okay, now let's get to the subject. Biden given the okay for Ukraine to use long-range missiles against Russia. Now, I've already seen a bunch of, that's how I found out about it, was on YouTube. And it's all, I don't want to be you get scared. The worst of everything. What's the worst could happen, okay? Okay, I can't wait till Canadian Prepper comes out with his video tonight. That ought to be an interesting one. But of course, it's going to be escalation World War III. All right, and they do have a right to say this, but they haven't thought it completely through. Okay. They're trying to get Putin to respond, like they have for him to respond big in the next 64 days. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. Now, I don't think Putin's going to respond. I really don't. Kristen, hey, hi, Wolf, good to see you. Hey, Kristen, how you doing? Anyway, but Putin's not going to respond. Why would he? In 64 days, that war is over. He's going to win. He's going to get the territories that voted to become part of the Russian Federation. He's going to get all that. Ukraine's going to be in a shambles. That country's going to be torn apart, and not only are they not going to have the money to continue the war, they're not going to have the money to rebuild the country. Their hurting's only started. They're going to see the repercussions for dealing with the evil United States government. Okay? But I don't see them reacting. Why would you if you were Putin? You know, they say Putin's happy because Trump won. Yeah, because he doesn't have to nuke the United States anymore. He's probably happy as hell he doesn't have to do that. I know I am. Could you imagine seeing Trump won and saying, thank God, now we don't have to nuke him? I mean, that's how close they were. Didn't he say if Hillary Clinton would have won, they were going to, they might have nuked us? I think something like that came out once. You know, we promised to tear Russia apart and put Putin in, take him up on crimes against humanity charges and stuff, which always ends up, you know, at the end of a rope. I mean, but Trump isn't. Seems like all the world leaders now are going to Trump. Even that Argentina that, oh, I keep forgetting his name, the chainsaw. They call him the chainsaw. Okay? The world's, you know, Trump got elected. The world took a breath. China wants to cooperate. North Korea ain't being too stupid anymore, okay? Unless he goes after Iran, which they should, you know. I heard that Ukraine's just a couple months from developing a nuclear weapon, okay? And we're worried about Iran doing it. I will say at least Iran's got somewhat of an elected government in. Remember, Zelensky canceled the elections. That guy's got so much to pay for, okay? But they're trying to get Putin to respond. And if you were Putin, would you respond? Okay, so they fire some long range missiles. And maybe, I'm not saying it's okay, but this is war, guys. In war, people die on both sides. You know, I'm saying, well, if they're gonna escalate and I'm gonna respond and they're gonna respond, like with Israel and Iran, you know, the wars they have now is just wagging the dog. But this is a real war they're trying to get started with Russia. But I think Russia can glance off these attacks. Okay? Obviously, long range means the missile's in the air longer, right? More opportunity to shoot it down. But they can absorb these hits because I tell you what, I'm sure the Russian people don't want to go nuclear. And he knows that the American people, after just voting for Trump and how the election went, we don't want any messing with the Russians. Okay? It's like they don't want to be messing with us. But how far are the Democrats willing to go? You know, just strange that it comes out that story about Ukraine being close to having a nuclear weapon. And then this. Well, I guess they'd have a platform to deliver it. But these people want a war so bad. It's crazy. What are they trying to cover up? The P. Diddy, the Jeffrey Epstein, the money laundering in Ukraine, the illegal black market weapon sales. I mean, what can they possibly done so bad that they're willing to start World War III to hide it? I guess they realize that Trump's going to get to the bottom of it. Okay. Mad cats. Their biggest fear is mad cats. Well, yeah. No wonder why you messed with them, tried to, you know, basically ruin him with all their fake charges and stuff. Try to blackmail his family, whatever. He came out, I didn't do shit wrong. Prove it. And now he knows who was after him. So now he knows. I mean, this is the thing. When these people, everybody that Trump's been putting in, most of these people, the Democrats have been messing with these people. Okay. They're, you know, like Trump, he took a bullet Don't you think he's going to look into that and find out what the hell happened? If they're going to release the JFK, the RFK files, Trump will find out the deal behind his shootings too. Anyway, now they're using the world stage to try to cover this up. That's the way I see it. Why else would Biden promise a peaceful transition and then knowing the Ukraine war is over as soon as Trump takes office and then authorize long range missiles? Authorized. See, this one, they use the word authorized. Like Joe Biden's in charge of the war over there. But don't worry, that's just a play on words, right? Will they go nuclear, though? Will they actually try to set something up, go nuclear and try to hide where it came from, or not even care and just go nuclear on them? Okay. How would Russia respond? Well, hopefully they would respond the way they said they were going to respond in command and control centers. So that would mean basically taking out the morons that are trying to destroy them, not the American people, but attack the government. Okay? Because, after we have this nuclear exchange, we're all going to have after we wake up and realize, hey, that wasn't such a great idea. We're all going to have to sit down and get along again. But, this is the thing. These people want to sit there and do this. They're just cutting their own throat. But, the American people have spoken. We wanted to end this war, stop financing this war. We never wanted to start financing this war. Remember the first spending package, $40 billion is all we need to win this war. Everybody remember that? $40 billion. $200 billion plus later. Yep. Okay. And they're still pushing it. And then I heard a congressman saying that all the money the government has, we need to get to, and I've said this. This lame duck session will try to pass a spending bill that'll make their other ones look like a drop in the bucket. Because they don't care. And they could get that through. They've gotten every other one through. So, but now they're calling for it. So 64 more days, the money ends. 65 more days, Zelensky will be at the peace table saying, hey, Putin, let's have a talk. And then after he settles his difference with Putin, then Zelensky's going to have to settle his differences with his, the people he cares so much about that he's killed half of them off and just didn't hold an election. Democrats want to support a country that you say has democracy, but their election was canceled. I guess that's one thing you guys could have done to get Trump not to win. You could have canceled it. And that's another thing I hear on as I'm watching these meltdown videos. These people actually want the government to do something to stop this, to stop the transfer of power, to stop the will of the American people. Just whatever. All right. What are they willing to do? Well, the liberals, okay? Like I say, liberals are really getting unhinged. And if you the holidays are coming up and you got to spend, Carol, a lot can happen in 64 days. Yep. 64 days, we can't let our guard down. That's obvious. I mean, this was a surprise to me. Chat disconnected. Please wait while I try to reconnect you. So Google must be watching me. Anyway, yeah, and obviously this was a totally uncalled for move. This was totally stupid and uncalled for. Nothing but an escalation in a war that's over here real quick. Whatever. Okay. Now I want to jump on a subject of what the liberals might do, but I want to go over the holidays. Okay, now we have been seeing videos now or stories about families where one of the family members killed the whole family because Trump won and they thought their life was over. I worry about people, especially Trump supporters, or maybe a big Trump supporter family where you maybe have one or two family members that are unhinged. I mean, what I'm saying is when you go to your family meal, make sure you're carrying. I hate to say that, but these women are divorcing their husbands, shaving their heads, getting tattoos, nose earrings, wearing blue bracelets, just spouting all sorts of men hate, family hate. I don't need to hear about holiday massacres. Like I say, somebody needs to be held responsible for all this mental illness that's going on right now. Anybody with a sane mind can look at these meltdown videos and think those are sane people, especially when you look in some of their eyes. Craziness. Like I say, Lizzie Borden and Lorena Bobbitt. That's all I see. Yep, that's who I want to share my house with. But you need to be careful. So I'm just telling everybody, be watching your relatives like you're watching, especially ones that you are on medication, maybe really taking the election really hard, and personally don't like you. They don't care. They don't understand the repercussions for their actions. I mean, look at these kids shoot up these schools and think they're going to go home the next day, that day. Anyway, but be careful for the holidays. Yeah, there's nothing sane about them. You're right, Carol. I mean, and then Kamala Harris just runs. Who's heard from her? Nobody. Why is she out here settling these people down? And you have the news blaming minorities and women and everything why Trump got in, call him misogynist and racist. Well, he got a lot of minorities to vote for him, a lot of women. That doesn't sound right to me. Just pushing these lies with medication. And I'd say mRNA might have had something to do with it too. Spike proteins, lack of oxygen to the brain. Anyway, just be careful at your family functions, okay? Because people are killing their families over it. Heard about some lady that in Seattle that killed her father. That guy in Minnesota that killed his wife, his kids, and his girl. I quite understand that if it was an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend or what the hell the deal was. I'm not digging in, but these people are unhinged. And remember, these are the people that they want, type of thinkers we want to vote, they want to vote in office. Okay? Those type of people that not only be in charge of pew-pews, but actually being in charge of the nuclear weapons codes. Crazy. Okay, and then I'm hearing about a January 6th protest, okay? Remember, Kamala Harris is sitting in on the Senate on January 6th. Now, I heard her role is all ceremony now. She don't have to certify it. As long as the Senate certifies it, it's good to go, okay? Hers is just ceremonial. But these people, see, they think they were told. Remember, they were told this the whole time, that the Republicans did an insurrection on the government without any guns, and only the patriots got killed. Okay, but we had an insurrection. This is what they were told. Okay, It's another crime of the mass media and social media because we weren't allowed to get in there and say what really happened. I mean, there's people still rotting in the Washington, D.C. gulag over this. But they were told that we were, I mean, they can have fiery, but mostly peaceful protests, right? Where people are getting killed, cops are getting killed, cops are getting blind from lasers. They're throwing, bricks all of a sudden appear on street corners, pallets of bricks. But we go to sit there and protest January 6th. We weren't stopping. See, this is the thing why Antifa and BLM had to come in there and start breaking windows. And the cops had to attack. Don't forget that the cops attacked first. Because they needed to get something going. They needed a photo op of Congress having to run for it because the people were so angry, instigated, and a couple fools took the bait. Anyway, so they're planning something way bigger on January 6th because they feel they have the right to. Yep. Okay. That's if we're not, if we haven't nuked Russia by then. Okay. Then we got January 20th, the inauguration, which frankly I think should be held indoors. It needs to be in a safe space. Trump doesn't understand this. You ain't gonna be dodging bullets the rest of your damn life, buddy. Okay? You want to help do your part in saving this country? You need to stay alive. Not that I'm worried that your replacement can't do it. But right now you got the political clout, the aura about you might say, to get it done. You got the experience. You're president once already, believe me. He's going to go in office that first day. He ain't playing games this time. We can see who he's putting in his cabinet. Every one of the Democrats are the mass media is against. Now they're against RFK. Oh my goodness gracious. They all loved Trump until he became a Republican and started running for office, right? These people are sick. But after January 20th, after 12 noon when he becomes president, well, now we got DOD Directive 5240.01. Bring it on, you dumbasses. Try your Chaz and chops. Okay? See where that gets you. Trump stood by in 2020 in the summer of love because he really couldn't do nothing. Now he can because the Democrats gave him the authority to do it. Anyway, and this is one thing I want to make a subject onto tonight. It falls into this. Okay. What's another thing the Democrats could do to try to change the situation? Could they do a possible disclosure on UFOs? Some type of level of disclosure. Okay. Werner von Braun, if you don't know who he was a German rocket scientist that was in charge of the German rocket experiments, the V1 and the V2 at Putin in Germany during World War II. He was one that was captured by the Allies and, basically the man who put us on the moon. Okay? Yep. That's what you do in war when you take the country down. Both Russia and the Allies were trying to get the smart ones out of there. What was it, Operation Paperclip? But he said that to dominate the people, they would come out with alien disclosure to do that. Now, he said this back in I think it was early 60s he said this. So, I'm sure he knew something, okay? You don't put a man on the moon with maybe not having, a little bit more information than we do. Let's just say that. Okay. But would they go to this point and actually have disclosure. Well, no, there were congressional hearings this week. Well, they were interesting. Huh. With these, well, one was a rear admiral. It's just people that they were called to give their testimony, what they knew, and some of them couldn't say some of the stuff, what they knew, and they weren't reprimanded for it because anyway, but they were bringing up some real goofy stuff, which we've already seen on all our shows. Underwater crafts, we've all seen those. Well, and then they said they were spying on our military installation, especially our nuclear installations. Boy, that sure goes with that 1980 incident in England under that U.S. Air Force base, Redlesham Air Force Base, whatever. It's Reudlesham Force incident. And yeah, they call that England's Roswell. There was no craft they recovered, but crazy, huh? So, and then there's a guy who works at the post office here in the town I live by, small town. And I could tell he was military right away. And he told me he was Air Force. And I said, "What'd you do?" He goes, "Security." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Where were you?" He goes, "Over by Sydney." I said, "Oh, you were the guys driving around the Humvees with the security for the nuclear missile silos. See, out here, the silos are just a small area. I don't know, they're maybe 200 feet by 200 feet, maybe. They just got the silo there or the concrete slab and stuff. The control center's off somewhere else. But these guys, I mean, if you break down near one of these silos, I used to hate driving by them things. I used to hate it because if you break down within 2 minutes, you're going to have a Humvee sitting there beside you with a machine gun pointed at you. Okay. Yeah. And I asked him, "Where do you guys hide out here? There's nothing to hide behind." "Oh, yeah, there is. We find it." But he's a pretty cool guy. But we were talking about seeing stuff because when I lived down there in that area, I talk about how I just watch for UFOs at night. He goes, "Yeah, I've seen a lot of strange stuff too." But that's seriously what it was. I saw so much strange stuff in the skies around those silos, it wasn't funny. All right. Where I literally had a friend over one night and I said, well, let's go out in the Grove tonight, have a fire, and we'll go UFO watching. They showed up. Okay, one thing they've brought up too is that our enemies, we have their craft and their technology, and so do our enemies, and we're reverse engineering it and stuff. I mean, so obviously these crafts do crash every once in a while. Okay, if every country, our enemies have them, that would mean China and Russia, Iran. I tell you what, they could have one. They're extremely technological in some areas. Who knows? Maybe Taiwan's got a hold of one, or that's how they're getting all these chips, mass producing these incredible chips, where they're 5 years ahead of the rest of the world. Just seems strange to me. Anyway, maybe they reversed engineered some of this stuff. I remember watching Bob Lazar. Okay, anybody know who he was back in the late 90s, early 2000s? Said he worked at Area 51. Everybody said he was nuts. Anyway, yeah, I kind of wanted to make this a little bit like my paranormal tonight, but I didn't get to because, like I said, I want to sit there and try to start World War III. But anyway, and then then they were talking about too, people, they had files on people that have gotten injured because of working on this equipment and stuff, this technology, where they're on permanent disability being paid by the government for this. All I'm saying is, okay. And then they're saying that our elected politicians, our elected officials don't know about this. It's like some shadow government that knows about this. Kind of like the X Files things, where the actual politicians, except for very few, don't know about this. I don't know. The liberals have kind of got their second breath back. They got the kick out of the stomach, the ones that have a little bit control. And they're trying to figure out what they can do to change the situation. I don't know. A lot of things just don't add up. Would they go the UFO route? I don't know. For a lot of people these days, see, this is another thing. The government has said they don't exist for so long that it's going to take a landing on the White House with the little gray-green dudes walking out or somebody walking out before anybody's going to believe it. That's what's come down to now, okay? Frankly, I won't believe it till I see that. All right? Yeah, I've seen enough stuff to know that, there's a lot of weird stuff up there. I've been seeing it ever since I was a kid. Like when you're 5 years old and you're walking down the gravel road and you think what you see is a 747 flying, let's just say real low to the ground, real slow, where I could see through the windows, see the people in the windows, right? But at 5, I thought it was a 747. But obviously now looking back at it, there's no way that could have been an airplane or a jumbo jet. But anyway, just memories of my past youth. So that's all the Lone Wolf Preppers got tonight. I hope you enjoyed the little off thing. But like I say, don't get worried about this, okay? This is another Democrats throwing a tantrum, and Putin's not going to fall for it. And if they decide to drop a nuke on him, he's going to take out the command and control centers like he said. Okay? And all he's got to do is take out a few. So, I don't, how desperate are the Democrats? I guess we're going to find out. Let's hope they don't get too crazy, okay? Because I've been feeling good. But I guess we can't let our guard down. Good night, Carol. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm gonna clock off here. But anyway, I'll see what happens with the Lone Wolf Prepper channel this week. If you guys could share the videos, I'd appreciate it. At least for another 64 days, I'm gonna have to deal with this. See what the next surprise is next week. Anyway, but share the videos if you could. I'd appreciate it. Get the word out. Because YouTube ain't putting me on the feed. So the only way I'm going to get views is if I get help. Isn't that crazy? I cannot wait till Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos are held accountable for the infringements on our constitutional rights. And then they get sued. Let's see, you can sue a millionaire for $1 billion. I think we can sue a billionaire for $1 trillion. Sounds good to me. But I tell you what, Trump's going scorched earth. If you infringed on the rights of the Americans, you might have something to answer for. I heard he's going through the military now, looking up who they made court-martial for the last 4 years because of, Afghanistan, all that other stuff. Okay. But anyway, everybody have a good night. And enjoy my shorts and stuff this weekend. If you'd share it, I'd appreciate it. So, and I'll see you next Friday for Dukes of Hazzard Friday Night Live. Everybody have a great night and a great week. This Loma Prepper out.